Hello Scotland, my name is Patricia Schick. I teach here in Canada. Ms Duncan and I became friends several years ago when she came here to teach for a year. I'm very excited today to read you chapter 19, A Small Explosive Device. The next morning, as Mom and Dad went through song after song to select some music for their son's upcoming dance competition, Ben sneaked out of the house and cycled to the hospital. When he finally found Granny's ward, he saw that there was a bespectacled doctor perched on her bed. Nevertheless, he raced over excitedly to see the old lady, so he could share the plan with her. The doctor was holding Granny's hand and talking to her slowly and quietly. "Just give us a moment, please, Ben," said Granny. "The doctor and I are just talking about, lady things." "Oh, okay," said Ben. He sloped back to the swing doors and leafed through a sickly-looking copy of Take a Break. The doctor passed him and said, "I'm sorry," before leaving the ward. "Sorry?" thought Ben. "Why is he sorry?" And he walked tentatively over to his Granny's bed. Granny was dabbing at her eyes with a tissue, and when she saw Ben approach, she stopped and shoved it back up the sleeve of her nightdress. "Are you okay, Granny?" he asked softly. "Yes, I'm fine. I just have something in my eye." "Then why did the doctor say, 'I'm sorry' to me?" Granny looked flustered for a moment. Well, I imagine he was sorry that he wasted your time in coming here. There's absolutely nothing wrong with me, as it turns out." "Really?" "Yes, the doctor gave me the test results. I'm as fit as a butcher's dog." Ben hadn't heard that expression before, but he imagined it must mean very, very fit. "That's brilliant news, Granny," exclaimed Ben. "Now I know. You said no before." "Is this what I think it is, Ben?" asked Granny. Ben nodded. "I said no 100 times. Yes, but what, young man?" "I found a weakness in the Tower of London, and I have spent all week working on a plan of how we can steal the jewels. I think we can really do it." To his surprise, Granny looked intrigued. "Pull the curtains and keep your voice down," hissed the old lady, flicking the switch on her hearing aid to full power. Ben quickly pulled the curtains around Granny's bed and then sat down next to her. "So, at the stroke of midnight, we swim across the Thames in scuba diving gear and locate the ancient sewage pipe here," whispered Ben, showing her the detailed diagram in the back issue of Plumbing Weekly. "We have to swim up a sewage pipe? At my age?" said Granny. "Don't be daft, boy." "Shush, keep your voice down," said Ben. "Sorry," whispered Granny. "And it's not daft, it's brilliant. The pipe is just wide enough. Look here." Granny lifted herself up from her pillow and moved closer to the page in Plumbing Weekly. She studied the diagram. It did indeed look wide enough. "Now, if we swim up the pipe, we can get inside the tower, undetected," continued Ben. "Everywhere else around the perimeter of the building, there are armed guards and security cameras and laser sensors. Take another route in and we wouldn't stand a chance." Yes, but how the blazes do we get into Jewel House, where the jewels are kept?" she whispered. The sewage pipe ends here at the privy." "I beg your pardon?" "The privy. It's an old word for toilet." "Oh yes, so it is. From the privy, it's a short run, a short walk across the courtyard to Jewel House. At night, the door to the house is, of course, locked and double locked. Probably triple locked." Granny didn't seem that convinced. Well, Ben would just have to convince her. The door is solid steel, so we'll drill out the locks to open it. But the crowns and the scepters and all the gubbins must surely be kept behind bulletproof glass, Ben, said Granny. Yes, but the glass isn't bomb-proof. We'll set off a small explosive device to shatter the glass. An explosive device? Spluttered Granny. Where on earth are we going to get that from? I swiped a few chemicals from science class, replied Ben with a smirk. I am pretty sure I can create an explosion big enough to get through that glass. But the guards will hear the explosion, Ben. No, no, no. I'm sorry, that's never going to work, exclaimed Granny as quietly as she could. Well, I thought of that, said Ben, momentarily delighted with his own ingenuity. You need to board a train to London earlier that day, posing as a sweet old lady. I am a sweet old lady, protested Granny. You know what I mean, continued Ben with a smile. From the station you take the number 78 bus all the way to the Tower of London. Then you give the Beefeater guards chocolate cake with something in it to make them sleep. Oh, I could